Did y'all know that minimum wage is lower now than it was during the Great Depression? The weekly minimum wage from 1933 translated to today's money would have been almost $400. And the current minimum wage is less than $300 a week. You don't even want to know how much more expensive housing is, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The average cost of a house during the Great Depression translated to today's money is about $70,000. The average cost of a house in America today is almost $400,000.
So this TikToker by the name of Rainbow Beach points out something that is really interesting, and that is the simple fact that if you look at our economy today and you look at the Great Depression economy, there's a lot of stark similarities, especially when it comes to the wages that are being paid and the cost of housing. In fact, the cost of housing is far worse and the wages are far worse. But if this is true, then how is our economy functioning? Well, on some level, it just literally isn't. If you look at the stock market right now, it is not doing very well, and that is specifically because consumer spending is falling. Of course, consumer spending is falling because the cost of living is increasing so rapidly, especially when you look at rent. People just literally don't have the money to spend on random consumer products. But this does raise a really important question because we're not in the middle of a Great Depression right now, or at least not yet. So what's keeping everything functioning? And the answer to that is credit. And now this is actually something that's very scary, and it's something that we all really need to recognize because everything from the cars that people are buying all the way to their regular consumer purchases are now heavily done in the form of credit. And the danger behind that is that credit not only comes with it incredibly high interest rates, which means that everything effectively costs a heck of a lot more, and a bunch of companies end up profiting by doing literally nothing other than providing that credit, but it can also create these really extreme economic bubbles where any little bit of a downturn can lead to this sort of cascading effect of everything kind of collapsing. This is a major problem, and it's something that we really need to understand. The United States economy is not functioning very well, and the only solution to this, unfortunately, is one of the things that politicians have pretty much taken off of the table, and there's a deep irony behind this. You see, politicians, both in the Democratic and Republican Party, are trying to pretend that what we are dealing with right now is rapid inflation that's due to the stimulus checks. But the stimulus money is all gone. I mean, literally, what world are these people living in where they think that the money that people got in stimulus checks is in any way, shape, or form hanging out in people's bank accounts? It just doesn't make any sense. Any type of inflation impact from that would have already dissipated. It's very obvious right now that what is happening is corporations just using the pandemic and a litany of other factors to excuse themselves as they increase prices for no reason, especially when you look at housing. I mean, seriously, housing was completely unaffected by the pandemic. I mean, think about it for a second. Not only does the United States have more housing than people, but also, if you're a landlord, your only cost is the cost of maintenance and the mortgage. Those things aren't magically going to go up. Those are basically fixed costs. So the idea that landlords are increasing rents right now is just absolutely ridiculous. And it just goes to show that the economy right now is built on price gouging. The reality is things should be getting cheaper year over year, and instead they keep getting more expensive year over year. And the fact that there are such extreme increases in the cost of so many things right now is not reflective of any structural problem other than companies wanting to make a profit. But when that is happening at the same time that wages are stagnating, then it leads to this problem where the economy can come to a grinding halt because consumer spending effectively stops. I mean, think about it. How many shoes and clothes or even groceries can people buy if the cost of rent goes up by 30, 40, or even 100% sometime? If that is what's happening, then the money that would theoretically be circulating in the rest of the economy instead goes to the rent extraction economy. And the reality is that interest on credit is also part of the rent extraction economy. The reality is that getting interest from credit provides essentially no value to the economy. All you're doing is, in most instances, sometimes even creating money and then demanding an extreme amount of additional money back. Structurally, that system just can't support itself. I mean, think about it. An economy cannot function if the primary growth within the economy is all based off of rent extraction? Who are they extracting rents from? We can't obviously all be extracting rents from each other. There has to be some sort of productive labor that's going on. So they're extracting rents from working class people. But in order to generate the demand that leads to that productive labor having any job, you have to actually produce things and sell them. And if you can't sell them because the rent extraction economy is too large and is taking too much money from the working class, then all of a sudden all of the real production stops. And the very minute that the real production stops and people start losing their jobs and defaulting on their credits, well, then all of a sudden the credit economy starts collapsing. And this is kind of where we're at. This is Ben Carolla with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Young Turks Twitch channel, and you can follow me at Benjamin Carollo on Twitter.